All right, folks, what is going on? This is episode 581 of the First and Frame Rate Show. I am VF Baller. Over here, we talk about Georgia Southern Atlanta Falcons football. And today, we're going to just jump right into it. I want to thank you guys straight up. The numbers from the last episode has been great. I mean, great turnout for the beginning of that episode. I mean, the numbers are crazy. And I cannot thank you guys for the support. I really, really, really appreciate it. The week has started off great for this podcast, and it's all thanks to you guys. If you're not really familiar with the show, I could be found on YouTube and Rumble, also on Anchor, Stitcher, Spotify, Apple, Google Podcasts. Over here, like I said, I talk about Georgia Southern and Atlanta Falcons football. I could be found on Twitter at VF Baller, and the website is firstandframerates.com. You can check out all those areas where you can find me on Twitter, where I mostly talk about things that don't make it to the show, and the podcast is the area where it's like the hub of the podcast where you can support and you can get direct access to the show. All right, let's just get into this, because today we're going to talk about two quarterbacks. Two quarterbacks is in my camp, teams that I talk about the most, Georgia Southern and Atlanta Falcons. But we're going to start off with Desmond Ridder, because he's pretty much been a hot topic for the past 18, 20 months. I mean, ever since he's been drafted, everybody's been like talking about him, especially after the 4 games when he played with Atlanta, finally got the starting job, and I think he did pretty well. Not bad at all. He completed 63% of his passes. Would like to see that go up by like 5 to 6 points, get up there around the 70% mark. 700 yards passing, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. His rating was 86.4. Fairly solid numbers for a guy who just going out there his rookie year. His next season that's coming up now, he's going to be QB1. And it's going to be really interesting to see what he do, and Davis Brin, because Davis Brin don't really want to talk about his numbers at Tulsa, because his numbers not that bad. But he's coming into a system where they're going to be passing the ball a lot. And I want to let you know my expectations for him, because I think the expectations I have for him he really could achieve them. But we're going to talk about Desmond Ridder first. Desmond Ridder basically is going to take the reins of the Falcons. And what do he need to do? He don't need to do much. He don't need to do that much when it comes to actually playing the game. Does this mean he needs to be a game manager? No. I don't want him to be a game manager, but the game does not have to be on his shoulders. He just needs to be efficient at running the offense. A lot of guys, they're game managers. They put them in situations to just complete easy passes or make it easy for them to gain yards. No, I don't want Desmond Ridder to be that. I need Desmond Ridder just to go out there, perform, and run the plays that are called to him. And if he's advanced enough, he can make plays on his own. And I would like for him to make plays on the fly if need be. If he needs to improvise, he needs to scramble, he needs to move out of the pocket, he needs to ad-lib and complete a pass. I want to see that too. I think Desmond Ridder has the tools to do so. He's shown a little bit of flashes in the last season. And for him to throw 700 yards, basically in 4 games, the first game wasn't the best. I mean, I think he threw for like 90-something yards. But ever since then, he started to get better. He threw for 218 against the Ravens. He threw 169 against the Cardinals. Ended up throwing, 224 against the Buccaneers. So he's kind of progressed a little bit better, but now the stage is bigger now. Now these games really, really going to matter. So we'd like to see him, take everything he's processed in and make something out of it, so he could be at least at best an above average quarterback. If he's an above average quarterback with the talent around him, he should be fine. But with the talent around him, he could be better than above average. I mean, you got all these weapons around you, from the Drake Londons to Kyle Pitts to Bijan Robinson, Jonnu Smith. You got Tyler Algier. You got so many weapons around you. It's very hard to be just above average. So kudos to Coach Arthur Smith and everybody in that camp for getting enough talent around him to succeed. Now, I know a lot of people don't want to really, I ain't gonna say a lot of people, but you got some people that don't want to give Desmond Ridder a chance. Don't understand why, and I really don't like to get into all of that, but I really feel that it is very short-sighted, because to be honest with you, I don't care who's behind who behind the center, who's under center. It doesn't matter. I want to see this team succeed. I rooted for Mariota till I couldn't no more. And the problem was that was very short because of the things that had happened from week 1 up until the time that he was, outed and Desmond Ridder got the chance to play. It kind of was disheartening to see that, but nevertheless, I still rooted for him. It doesn't matter who's playing as QB1. I want them to succeed. I just don't get it why a lot of people just are not, down for their team's quarterback. Now, I get it if the guy's like terrible or something, I get it when the guy's like haven't produced, like after week 4, I was damn near done with Mariota. If trust and believe, if Desmond Ridder does the same thing and stinks up the joint when he start playing, I'm gonna be calling for him to be on the bench as well. Put Taylor Heineke in. You know what I'm saying? Put Chase Bryce in if he's gonna still be on the team. Put somebody out there besides him because he's not helping win games. So I'm with some people, but I think the kid should deserve a chance, especially after what he did in his first 4 games. I think he's done enough to say, all right, we should give him a shot. Let's give him the first 4, maybe 5 weeks of the season and see how it goes. I mean, if he does terrible, you might need to have to pull him before then. But gut feeling deep down, I think Desmond Ridder's going to be fine. I think with the people around him, the way that this coaching staff actually put things together, and we just did an episode not too long ago about Kyle Smith, what he said about Desmond Ridder. I think they set this kid up to be, a really good, solid, I would say above average to good quarterback. Can he be elite? I mean, you got to put some work out there to be elite in the NFL. So it's not given to you, and we may not even see that level of play from, Desmond Ridder until maybe year 3 or 4, because you got to think about it. You look at all these other players, like outside of, like I said, Matt Ryan, Joe Flacco, which they did a lot in their rookie years. Outside of those 2 guys, everybody else pretty much developed as, year 3, year 4, when you start to see. I mean, Josh Allen was absolutely horrible in the beginning. Patrick Mahomes had to go through some growing pains until he got the way he was. I think he was kind of fast. I think it was like year 2 or something like that. But when you start seeing other players, like, you don't really get to see. I think Ben Roethlisberger was another one where, he just came out right out the gate and was balling. So I'm not saying that he should get a long leash. I just think he should get enough so they can progress him in the right way, because if he starts thinking up the joint, I'll be the first one to tell you I'll be ready to move on from him. But I just don't think that's going to happen. I think we got a good one. I really do. I mean, I'm not afraid to eat my words if I'm wrong. I mean, nobody's perfect. It is what it is. But I feel that we got a good one with Desmond Ridder. I really do. We're going to jump over to the other quarterback before we get out of here. Davis Brin. You guys may not know much about him because I haven't talked much about Georgia Southern football here in a while, but Davis Brin is a quarterback that has played college football for 3, 4, I'd say that back, probably 5 years. And he put up some pretty decent numbers. Let me see if I can pull up his stats real quick. Don't want to hold you guys up. All right, good. Thank God for fast internet. So if you're watching, if you're watching on the screen, there's nothing there but the picture of Desmond Ridder and Davis Brin. But Davis Brin threw for 2,138 yards, 17 touchdowns, 8 interceptions. Now, I don't know who his receiving core was, but I'm almost certain he has a better group here at Georgia Southern. And from what I hear, this kid is pretty sharp. And it's going to be good to see him playing under this offense with, Coach Clay Helton and Ryan Ellis. Brian Ellis. It's going to be really nice to see these guys implement him into this offense and see where he goes. Because you also have to understand, Kyle Van Treese was here last year. Kyle Van Treese was okay when he played at Buffalo. But when he ended up coming to Georgia Southern, I mean, he was like top 5 in passing. He threw for over 4,000 yards. Now, this is what I think that's going to happen. This is what I would love to see happen. I would love to see Davis Brin throw for nearly, or if not, 500 yards. I want to see him get, not 500, I'm sorry, 5,000 yards. I want to see him get close to 5,000 yards passing. And I think with the receiving guys that we got a lot of guys coming back, some guys who matured from last year. Not saying that they were immature, but they matured because they got better as the following season, progressed. or the past season progressed, and when you got all that talent, I mean, if I start naming the kids that are playing for Georgia Southern with that would be involved in the receiving game, I could stay here for another 10 minutes. So I don't want to necessarily like name them all. It's a lot. I mean, you know what? Why not? Let's just try to name them all off the rip. I mean, you got Jet Thompson, you got Sam Kinnerson, you got Anthony Queeley, you have oh goodness, what's the kid from Pitt? Oh my goodness, I lost his name that quick. The kid from Pitt is going to be on the team. Barton. Yeah, Barton. Then you got the tight ends it's so many. Dalen Cobb. You got Derwin Burgess, JJ McCaffey. We have a lot of weapons. Caleb Hood. So the 5,000 yards is actually not out of the question. If Kyle Van Treese, and I'm not saying he's better than Kyle Van Treese or whatever, but when you have a guy like Davis Brin that is actually, putting the work in, and he's done what he's done at Tulsa and put the numbers up he did at Tulsa, and you're going to have this many weapons, because he has more weapons than what Kyle Van Treese had last year. There's no reason why he can't do it. I mean, you got a 6'7" tight end as well, the security blanket. Then you got JJ McCaffey as well, the tight end. You have some weapons. Then I'm not even talking about the guys who can catch out the backfield like OJ Arnold. And Jalen White is another one that can catch out the backfield. So I think with Davis Brin, I think he should be able to succeed. And I know that there was some expert or a guy's analyst out there was basically saying that we can go 9-3. I'm not against that. I would like for us to, at the minimum go 8-4. It was close to going 8-4 last year, but there was some mishaps here and there. But I think with this team now, I think we're a little bit sharper, and we should be able to achieve that. And really, with the way this game or the way this team is set up, it's more set up in a passing game where Georgia Southern was known for running the ball. We're gonna be passing more now, and with 7, 8, you probably got a total of probably about 9 weapons that's at Davis Brin, at his disposal. I mean, it's going to be very, very hard to keep this team, not having like an air raid attack on your secondary. It's going to be really, really interesting to see. So, I can't wait to see how this goes. It's going to be really cool. I really think that he's going to be able to be great. I also feel like Desmond Ridder is on his way to be great. I think both of these quarterbacks are going to be, pretty much very efficient when it comes to each other's respective teams. All the weapons around both of these guys, and not to mention, the defense that Atlanta possessed. We just talked about the defensive backs, and Georgia Southern defense looks a lot better than last year. Matter of fact, their defense in the spring game actually dominated the spring game. So if they could play like that against this offense, the rest of the Sun Belt should be really, really worried. So we can't wait to see how this goes. We got a long ways to go till the season starts, but I'm going to be right here talking about both teams every step of the way. If you like this commentary, hit the like button, share this podcast, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Let me know what you guys think. Do you think these quarterbacks could be efficient in their perspective or their respective teams? What do you think about Desmond Ridder? Do you think Desmond Ridder could be the guy that could be efficient enough to lead this team to a deep playoff run? I mean, I think he could be at least at the bare minimum above average. The ceiling right now is good. I just don't see him being elite just yet. I mean, being elite in year 2 is like wow, that's amazing. And Davis Brin, with all that talent and all the experience he has, with him being a senior already, and he's coming to Georgia Southern to play his final season with this air raid attack and all of these weapons. I know Kyle Van Treese threw for 4,235. Can he throw for near 5,000 yards? I think he can do it. You got the second year of these guys being acclimated in this offense, and you're bringing a veteran like this in. It's going to be really cool to see. So I could be found on YouTube and Rumble, also Spotify, Stitcher, Apple, Google Podcasts. Hit that like button, guys. Please hit that like button if you haven't already. Also, follow me on Twitter at VFBaller. Go over there on the podcast avenue if you haven't already. Give me a 5-star rating if you can, or give me a high star rating on any of those avenues that you use. And follow me on, or I think I said follow me on Twitter. firstandframerates.com. Go over there to the website and check it out. I'm going to get up out of here. Thank you guys once again. I really, really appreciate it. And I will see you guys on the next one. You guys enjoy the rest of your evening and you guys be blessed. Peace.